Good morning. Well, here we are again, another Monday morning. I think the last time I filmed was Easter Monday, which I don't even know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Time is just, uh, yeah, some days don't even know what day of the week it is. But here we are, and for this week's segment, I actually had a couple friends of mine send me over some questions, and one of them knows quite a lot about the restaurant industry, so I wasn't sure she would have any, but she sent me some really good ones, and that's Allison, and then my other friend Christy sent some really great ones as well. So I don't know if we'll get them all answered on this week's segment, but I'm going to start today, and then we're going to insert just different things that will maybe help answer some of those questions without me just talking all the time, and maybe some more in-depth of dill pickle soup making and some chefing and things like that. So anyways, here we go with the first question. How often do you change your menu? And now that's a tough one. Sometimes we go 2 years without reprinting our menu. Because we have our insert special, that those features last anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. So we change that every 4 to 6 weeks. And honestly, it's the age-old question for us whenever we sit down as management, like what could we take off our menu? And we're always stumped. Everything sells. I know we're going to be making some big menu changes, maybe not big, but during this time for when we do reopen, and we'll still reopen with a much smaller menu. We just have no choice. And so it's just, what do you take off? We don't know, because it all sells. That's honestly been our struggle for probably the last 10 to 15 years is we used to change our menu like maybe once a year and, take off items, and then there'd be like retaliation from customers because we took off their favorite thing. So then we'd like change it again and put it back on and, take something else off, and then there'd be different retaliation and things like that. And then, with minimum wage having gone up 40% over the last, well, it hasn't gone up in a year now, but 3 years prior gone up 40%, we kind of, most of the time, to be honest, we were just raising our menu prices like 5% at a time. So I think our menu prices have gone up like 7 to 10% over the last 4 years, but our labor has gone up 40%. So that's really the only reason then we changed our menu, maybe the odd thing here or there. So there's no definite. We don't have a like every 6 months we sit down and change our menu. Our inserts are a big thing, that those change every 4 to 6 weeks. And so she also had another question about like who plans the specials and stuff, and I'm gonna answer that later because that'll kind of go in conjunction with our menu, where like I said, we don't necessarily change our menu that much. However, our insert specials are kind of what keep us fresh and stuff. And like I said, there are things going to be coming off. There are going to be changes for when we do reopen. What those fully are, we're not even sure yet. We've sat down twice, Dad, Jeff, and I, and we're like, what do we take off? Does this sell? Yep, that sells. Well, what about this? No, this, these people really like that. So we are going to take off some things. There might be some upset people, but we are going to add a few things that we're hoping will work better for us, work better for you, the customer, give us a fresh face, things like that. But at the end of the day, obviously we're never going to get rid of chicken tenders, honey mustard. We changed it once. There was retaliation. The orange amaretto sauce that's in the stir fry, JJ, chicken Georgia. You guys love that. Obviously we're steak and prime rib, so that's not going away. We sell a ton of burgers. We sell a ton of fish. So what do we take off? Because after that, there's honestly not much left. So anyways, that's the answer, the short and long answer to that question. Okay, so just a quick little part 2 or add-on. Allison also had the question, who decides what items are added, taken off? That would be Jeff, Dad, and I. We ask our staff, our senior staff, like what sells, what's not selling, and we look at our reports daily. Jeff tallies our reports every day, so we have numbers in front of us of like what sells, what doesn't sell, and again, pretty much everything sells. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by text messages. My apologies. So it's just kind of a collective of us, and customers dictate, what sells, what doesn't sell when we look at our tapes, right? How do you choose specials, and is it up to the chef? Yeah, Jeff pretty much has free reign over the inserts. Obviously, we collaborate as owners and management. Things like prices, what's on sale, what's on special, what we can get from our suppliers, from, in summer, our local bison supplier, Stroshine Bison Farms. Our vegetables are grown 2 kilometers from us. She raises pigs and geese and chickens and all of that. So, different seasons of the year, we like to highlight her and do like an all local insert. Okay, so another great question from Miss Allison Deerdorf here. Do you test out creations on staff, family, regulars, or others? Not really. Like I said, a lot of our stuff we've either done before, it's coming back in a new spin, or maybe we just trust that it's going to be good. And so we give a lot of, free reign to the chef on that one. We just know it's going to be good. And if we put it on an insert and maybe we need to make adjustments, we will. Or if it's not selling, then we just realize that those kinds of things don't sell, right? So I'm going to kind of like when we very first opened 27 years ago, we had test runs. And so for 3 nights in a row, we invited contractors, friends, family, and we tried out different menu items and got a feel. And on a lot of those menu items are still here today because people love them. We even had them at our restaurant in Gooseberries and brought those recipes with us. So it's not, we probably could test out a little more, but we just get a feel. After 27 years, you get a feel of what people want. Okay, so we're going to a question from my good friend Christy Ticholas, who are some of our best customers right now, I might add. They live in Leduc, but they get a delivery order once to twice a week. We're very grateful for that. And so many of you are supporting us 1, 2, 3 times a week, and you have no idea how much it means to us. Like, it's literally hundreds of dollars are the tipping point of, is it even worth it to stay open? So every order counts, and we so appreciate that and ridiculously grateful. Dad, Jeff, and I and the staff talk about it all the time. So anyway, she had some great questions. The first one I'm going to chat about is, how do we get our huckleberries, and how is the huckleberry pie made? Well, I'm not a baker, and I will never attempt to make pie. So, but how do we get our first off? So we sourced them out years ago. I don't even know how long ago now. I just remember when we first started getting them, I don't even know that a lot of other places in Alberta still do, to be honest. I know Hotel McDonald called us the first year I think we started getting them, and we're like, can we buy huckleberries from you? And we're like, nope, go source them yourself. Because we've sourced them literally direct from the pickers. And so it's the only way to get huckleberries. You can't go buy them in a store. In Montana, you can go buy them at farmers markets. You can buy them on Amazon, which is from the pickers, but they're ridiculous. I mean, their huckleberries are expensive as it is, let alone buying them on Amazon. So we have many pickers that we get from. We've gotten them from Montana, Idaho. Obviously, with the dollar the last many years, we don't go into the States anymore. It's just too hard to get them. Plus, we have to travel to get them, or the pickers charge us like delivery. So it just adds more of an expense. So like the last few years, we've gotten them from around Golden. We've gotten them from Pincher Creek. We've gotten them from closer into the BC area, like more into the interior. But they're a different type of huckleberry. They're bigger, they're redder, and they're not as flavorful. The ones we get are small like a wild blueberry, and they're deep purple, and the juice in them, they're so juicy. Like when you unthaw a bag of huckleberries, half your pot is juice. And like the Saskatoon, you would never have that. A lot of berries you would, but a lot you wouldn't. So I'm going to read our huckleberry sign. Not sure if that came through, but
so I'm just going to read that. It's the Wild Mountain Huckleberry. The true Wild Mountain Huckleberry is distinctively different than any other wild berry, including the wild blueberry. Wild huckleberries grow only at extreme high elevations near the mountain snow lines and cannot be grown domestically. Because of this, it has escaped contact with human pesticides, fertilizers, or man-made sprays and stands proudly pure and free. It is one of the favorite foods of the grizzly bear, as it is rich not only in taste but in natural vitamins as well. Because of the totally unique flavor of the wild huckleberry, it is wildly considered to be the aristocrat of all wild berries. As they are hard to locate and difficult to harvest, they capture the highest price of any North American wild berry. For example, the Seattle price in summer of $95 topped $50 for 1 gallon. Huckleberries Cafe is honored to offer you this pure natural wild berry in our home-baked huckleberry pies, with huckleberry sundaes, and as a splendid sauce for all our natural cheesecakes. We trust you will savor the sensational flavor of this truly wild wonder.
It is.
So, I don't know.
It's a pretty crazy berry. It can only grow above 7,000 feet elevation. It can't be transplanted. Some people say you can, but the pickers and people that know the berries more than us say you cannot, that they will become it, that it is not the same. Our pickers send us pictures while they're up picking in the mountains of like grizzly bears eating them. They're a low-lying bush. Harvest is around August, so we go get them direct from the pickers, or like I said, they bring them to us. We store them in our freezer, so we have berries for like another year. Unfortunately, the BC government a year and a half ago put a ban on picking too many of the berries because they wanted to preserve it for the grizzly bears. So we got a little bit. One year we didn't get any. Last year we got a little bit. Our thought is they'll let the pickers reinstate, but just put a tax on it. Which, yeah, what's not tax nowadays? But anyways, and so, yeah, and then I think last year we paid $10 a pound for huckleberries, and our picker said that that would be the last year they would absolutely ever charge us that little, that it's going to go up to 12 or 13 pounds a dollar, 12 to 13 dollars per pound this year, plus we normally have to pay someone to go get them and things like that. So anyways, that's the huckleberry. I didn't talk about the pie. It is my aunt's recipe. She made the pies for about 15 years, and then she passed it on to another lady. She taught another lady, and there is definitely a secret ingredient in there that I'm not going to tell you, but it is what makes her pies, any of her pies, and the huckleberry pie, in my opinion, some of the best pies. Okay, so I have another great question here about our famous and original dill pickle soup from my friend Christy, and she's just asking who came up with the dill pickle soup. And so I think there's a couple different accounts. I'll share my account of where I think it came from. So we had this old elderly German Polish lady work for us at Gooseberries. And yeah, she just started making it as a soup of the day. Now, it has changed a lot over the years. I mean, that was 30 years ago. So I would say it's a completely different recipe that you guys know now. Back then, it had like potato chunks and obviously wasn't gluten-free. And yeah, so anyways, that's where we first started serving it, was Gooseberries. Gooseberries opened February of 1990. And then we brought it here, and it used to just be a soup of the day. And then over the years, every day, is it the soup of the day? Is it the soup of the day? No, not today. So then we started having it on Fridays. And so people got to know that we had it every Friday. And then it just became too popular. So we started serving it every day. How long ago? I don't know. And then we started serving it in the take-home liters. I don't even know how long ago that was, 4 or 5. And so we are up to probably, 350 liters a week when we're busy, even though now we're selling probably 30 to 40 liters a day, just by take-home liters. And then in January, obviously a lot of you know, we started partnering with different shops in Leduc, Local Meats, in Edmonton, Acme Meats, Bashaw Meats, Ponoka, Makinga Market. We were in Camrose, but they closed. But so with those places, we were up to like 600 liters a month. Yeah, is that right? It doesn't matter, but no, more than that. Anyways, we're selling a lot of dill pickle soup. So now it's gluten-free. Jeff worked really hard, literally for an entire week years ago, to make it gluten-free, but yet the taste be the same. And then, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, they discontinued that flour, and he had to rework the recipe for days again to get it the same. So it's not an easy soup to make. And, of course, now everyone has dill pickle soup. Okay, so another question that Allison had was about our renovating. I'm just going to show you our arrows on the floor right now for directing traffic, which actually becomes a problem with social distancing, but we've managed. So anyways, so she asked, obviously we renovated, we did our lounge floors. She said, would you have been able to do that before, and how long would it have taken? And so, as I had mentioned in the last segment, we were needing to do the lounge floor for like 10 years, and we knew we would need to close for probably a while, or at least close out this middle section here, so we could like stack everything. Luckily, we're really big, and with the downturn prior to even COVID, there was times where we were only half full anyway, so we could have just used our section 3, the other side of the dining room. But it was a way bigger job than we anticipated because we weren't thinking we would need to take the booths out. So as you had seen before, literally the entire restaurant was full of tables, chairs, and booths. Now we could have stacked that all in section 8 and done it, but this made it way easier. And when we were going to do it, I don't know, because okay, so Allison had a question about who picks menu items. Is it the chefs or who? And so that really comes down to a collaboration of Dad, myself, and Jeff. For the special feature inserts, Jeff pretty much chooses that. It depends on his shopping, what he can get from the suppliers or local vendors or things like that, different times of the year. In summer, obviously, we have our own vegetable grower, Fourth Haven Farms, Jennifer, just 2 kilometers here from us, and she dedicates a lot of her land to growing vegetables for us. And then, she does geese and chickens and pigs, so we'll get a whole pig from her, a couple 3 times a year. And then Strohschein Bison Farms, we've been using their bison. They're also their farm is about 2 kilometers from here. The bison are way out west, but so it just depends. We were just doing a celebration of certified Angus beef feature here, certified Angus beef, and a celebration of it. We had some really cool drink pairings, like bourbon marshmallows and lighting them on fire at the table and things like that, and which I'll talk about probably a whole nother segment of its own, certified Angus beef, or at least a clip. I did want to add, just in the renovation question that Allison had, the last time we fully renovated, closed our doors, renovated the dining room was about 6 months or so after we opened the lounge, which was in 2001, I believe. I don't know, timelines escape me. And then a little bit later, because when we first opened, if people remember, we were pink and green. All the booths and chairs and walls and everything was like pink and dusty rose. It was a very in color. And so in 2001, 2002, we shut down. We closed Sunday night, and all the staff worked hard. We cleared everything out, got everything down. We had professional painters come in. We repainted, painted the ceiling. That's kind of what is now, the ceiling's brown and the walls are burgundy and beige, and what obviously everyone knows that. We redid the bulkhead, painted it, things like that. And so we closed Sunday night after we were done the dining room, and we didn't reopen again until Friday evening. And we just literally worked around the clock. We've closed a couple other times because we've had to do things in the kitchen, and that's taken 2 to 3 days we've had to close. We'll normally try and do that in January when we know it's slower. But yeah, it's hard to close, but there's times. Now, we haven't repainted our walls since 2001. However, we've done touch-ups several times, and we actually recovered all our booths. We're on the 3rd round, so what you see now, kind of this really pattern, the brown seats and the chair backs, that's our 3rd round of chairs. They used to be pink and green, and then we had several different prints, like a cowboy boot print and a really light colored print, and the fabric did not hold up at all. It wore out extremely fast. This fabric we have on now is lasting much better. And then I think the chairs were navy. I don't even remember anymore. We should have taken more pictures. Navy and a different back. They're on their 3rd round as well. Plus, we recovered the tabletops about 5 years ago. So again, the tabletops used to be pink, and now they're this wood grain. And so that was done about 5 years ago. So. Okay, so today we have one of your very favorite menu items, or actually normally on our special lunch insert, is our bannock taco. And so Junior Sue Taryn today is making the bannock taco. So I'm gonna ask her a couple questions while she's making it. So how old were you when you first learned to make bannock, Taryn?
I think I was 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So you've been making it for a while then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we have her make it. She's one of the experts making it. Oh, it's over here.
Oh, and my mom showed me that.
What's that?
It was my mom who showed me.
Your mom who taught you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right. I was gonna ask that. That's awesome. So you add the flour and then you put in vinegar or something?
Salt.
Salt?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a little mountain.
Yep. Baking powder?
Yeah. Just another little spoon. And the egg. Some water.
Here we go. Milk and water is in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it like quite a specific way you need to make it, like making the well and stuff like that? Like is it, yeah, you have to do that?
Yeah. It holds it together better.
Okay.
And just slowly incorporate the flour in.
Okay.
I need more water.
Okay, so she added a bit more water and now starting to slowly incorporate the rest of the flour. Okay, so now what are you doing? You're just adding more flour or?
Yeah. Just gonna knead it a little more so it's a little more stiff.
Okay. So I see you're using your knuckles. Is that like an important kind of part of it, or
It'll get some of the air bubbles out, so it's less,
some of the bubbles out? Okay.
so it's more like dense in the middle.
Okay.
Not so fluffy.
Okay, and my friend Allison had a question this week about how do we choose menu items. So this is an item that we put on special starting years ago. It would be on our feature insert that I had mentioned. And it was always such a hit and it was so popular, so we decided to put it on our menu. And actually when we put it on our menu, the sales slowed down and there was some days it didn't even sell, and that happens a lot. We'll put things on a special insert and they'll be extremely popular and we'll sell tons of them, and then we put it on our menu and it kind of gets lost. So with this item, we actually took it off, left it for a while, and then when we put it back on special, we sell crazy amounts. So that's what we do with our Bannock taco now. Working on, chef?
Sauce,
What kind of sauce you making?
chorizo veg.
Chorizo veg. Oh, wow. Okay, so now we're frying this bad boy up. So how long would we fry that for, Taryn?
Like 30 seconds. 45
Okay,
seconds.
so not long at all. Okay. So it just keeps puffing up more and more as it fries. So I actually just asked Taryn, when I first started filming, it didn't look like the oil was bubbling very much, so I asked her if the oil was cold, and she's like, no. So what happens is the longer, when it first goes in there, the bubbles are like, I guess, making the dough cook, and so the longer it cooks, the crispier it's starting to getting, then the bubbles in the oil are more apparent. Most people probably know that. I didn't. Okay, so right now we have sous chef Javon. He's cleaning, what is this, a ribeye or a strip loin? A strip loin. So this is your New York strip loin. This is what it looks like when it first comes in. And now we gotta clean it. So first he's taking off, what's that? That's the fat cap. And then this he's cutting off is the?
Like the kneecap, like the end cap.
The end of the, yeah, kind of the end of the kneecap.
We'll use it, just not.
Yeah, we do use it. We just don't use it for cutting our steaks. When we cut our steaks, we're like taking off the fat, taking off this. You're getting 6 or 8 ounces of solid meat. Whereas a lot of places would leave that on, might trim it a little bit. And now he's just trimming it, cleaning it, right, Javon?
Yeah.
So you'll just get rid of all that kind of fat on top. And then are you gonna cut that all off? No, just a little bit of it? Because fat's where the flavor comes from, right? Hispanic tacos. Taryn is going to assemble them. We have our assembly line here with Mary and Taryn. Actually, I just want to chat about our to-go containers for a second. So we've been using these to-go containers, these paper ones, for gosh, I don't even know, 6, 7, 8 years. They're actually biodegradable, so you can throw them in your organic garbage, and they are, whoa, probably 10 times the cost as those crappy little styrofoam ones that your food just gets all soggy and wet in. And then we also use our microwavable containers. Maybe some of you didn't even know that they could go in the microwave, those other round ones over there too. And they cost us almost $1 each. Those are about 35, 40 cents. And then the little styrofoam ones I think are like 5 or 10 cents each at the most. So yeah, everything we do is honestly we try and make it better for the environment, better for their customer. Those, like I said, microwavable, and you can put them in the dishwasher.